And joining us now from the lobby of the hotel in Belgrade are Pnina Basov, Esther Silver, and Chen Kotler. Welcome to the CJN Daly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. I know that you're in the middle of your tournament, so we're speaking to you before the next game on your day off. Today is a practice day, I assume.
Yes, we had a wonderful practice today. It was a lot of fun. You can see the pictures on our Facebook page.
And is this the team hotel for all the four teams, or is this the Israeli team is there?
For all of the teams, not just the Israeli.
Okay, maybe we need to start off because this is going to air after the end of your next game. So let's take a little bit of a history about how this team was formed. And anybody can start and jump in.
I'll start. I tried to start the Israeli national team 15 years ago, but for various reasons, it was not a success. And a few years ago, Levav Weinberg from Metula, a farmer who loves hockey, he started getting the ice hockey league going here in the federation in a formal legal way. And then in July this year, he got it off the ground. We had our first get together and our first tryouts. So he's the man who's responsible for all of this.
Now, I don't know whether the audience knows. I know they know the Israeli men have hockey teams, and there's Canadian hockey started, back in northern Israel from, that was like a big thing with the Canadian people who started it. But I wasn't aware girls didn't play hockey in Israel. So tell us a bit about that.
So normally the girls are playing with the boys in the boys team, and this time they just took all the girls they have in Israel and tried to build a team only for girls.
So there's no tradition, there's no history of girls in hockey as a separate team. You played with the boys. What about changing? How did that work with changing rooms? What did they do for you? Did they accommodate it?
All the time we needed just to go to the bathroom to change the clothes. Yeah.
So let's talk one at a time. Pnina, tell us a little bit about your hockey story. How did you get started? How did you fall in love with the game? A little bit about that.
My brother started with the hockey on the rollerblades. It started like that. And I really liked it. And I wanted to try. And then I tried that and I loved it. So I've been playing for 5 years. And when I came הגעתי לגיל 15.
When she turned 15.
So I couldn't play with boys because this was too much physical game. So I was so upset and there wasn't like a girls team. So I started to look for schools in Canada or US. And then I found one, and this was my first year. I just came back from there like 2 weeks ago. And yeah, this is how I started.
And where is the team? Where did you play and study in Canada?
In Utopia, HTI, Hockey International Training.
It's a private school in Northern Ontario.
Do you know what city or town it's in?
Utopia.
Oh, that's the name of the town is Utopia? I didn't even know that.
It's HTI, Hockey Training Institute.
So how far from Toronto is it?
Like 1 hour.
Utopia, Ontario? Never heard of it.
It's really close to Barrie.
Near Barrie. Okay, so did you live in Barrie, or you lived at the school, or what did you do?
Yeah, I lived in the school, in the dorms.
Were you the only Israeli girl there?
Yeah.
Interesting. And did you ever get to see like Niagara Falls and some of the tourist sites?
Yeah. They've been taking us for all these trips to see.
Well, so how old are you now, Pnina?
I'm 16.
So what grade are you in Canada? Or how does that work? Do you go to regular school there, or is it, how do you study?
It's a private school. I'm now grade 10. So yeah, I have practices every day and classes in the morning.
Let me turn it over to Chen. So how old are you? You're the captain. Tell us your journey into hockey.
Yeah, I'm 26 in the next week. So I started to play when I was 6 years old. My father have a hockey school in Astiona, so it was because of him. So I started to play like rollerblades, and then we turned off to play like ice hockey because we don't have much ice in Israel, so it's difficult for us to go to Metula every time. It's like 4 hours driving, and that's it. So I was playing with the boys all these years.
How did you manage to get enough ice time on your own, you guys, as a women's team? What is the challenge to form this team? You said there's not enough ice time. So Esther, how did you manage to get them together?
Well, we had maybe 3 times that we had any kind of formal. We had the tryouts, and then I think we had another meeting, and then recently I got together a mini training camp, which was wonderful. We have a coach from the States. His name is Ty Newberry. He's amazing. He is an amazing coach. And he flies in for the States. We have 2 other coaches from here, Boris Mindel and Boris Kotler, who is Chen's father. And I have to say, both Chen and Pnina have fathers who are superlative hockey fathers. They support their kids in hockey in any way they can. They're amazing.
Were they also playing on Israeli or Russian or other teams before?
Boris Mindel played on, your father played
In Ukraine before, and then he played in Israel. He's like in the old guy team
in the
of Israel.
senior team.
So what part of Ukraine is your family from? You must be very distracted right now thinking about what's happening with the war.
Yeah, all my family is in Israel now, but my father basically from Vinica. It's near Uman. So.
When did he move to Israel?
When he was 17.
So how many years ago was that?
He's now 45, so you do the math.
38 years ago.
Esther, you were mentioning that this is the first trip as a team and first time as a championship, first time on the ice. But you also have something to do which most other teams don't, which is you're Israeli and there's some Jewish people on the team. So you're a target possibly. Tell us about the security challenges that your team is dealing with.
We have to be accompanied at all times by police. In fact, they're sitting behind us.
Yeah, right.
They're sitting right behind us. And they stop the traffic and they go with us by foot or they go with us by cars accompanying our bus. So we're constantly accompanied by the police, even in the arena.
Why did this happen? Was it something you requested, the embassy requested, Serbia, IHF? How did that?
The IIHF, it's the norm for all Israeli teams to protect us after what happened in Munich to the Israeli athletes in the Olympic. So we are provided with protection. I find that to be very sad that we have to have that.
And let's talk about this because I know that most players in hockey, there's like chirping, you know what chirping is, and trash talking a little bit. In the men's team, they insult each other. There's sometimes racism, and there's sometimes, for Jewish people, we worry about anti-Semitism. So how did you prepare for that coming here, and how did you prepare the team, Esther, for anti-Semitism anywhere?
Well, you know what? I think it's important. As a Canadian, I know and have experienced anti-Semitism, but Israelis don't. So they were like, when I gave them a little talk about it, they were like looking at me like, are you nuts? And thank God, all the women that we've met here, all the other teams, I mean, we dance with them in the hallway and, we're friendly. And you can see from our Facebook videos, it's quite something. We've got friendships, but you do know that Iran was supposed to be here. Iran was, when they heard that Israel was participating, they bowed out.
I was not aware of that. How did that happen? Were they allowed to just quit, or did they forfeit? Is that what it is? Like they forfeit their...
Yep, they can't participate.
So there were 5 teams originally supposed to be?
That's correct.
Girls, how do you feel about the fact that you have all this security and this extra pressure that most other players don't have to deal with.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
We think that we are responsible for ourselves, and we don't like seen us as a target.
Right.
But that's it. But that is the situation.
Now, do you have to keep kosher in this? Did they give you kosher food, or it's not? That's not part of it.
You really can't, we have our games and practices on Shabbat. So unfortunately, that's the only time we can get ice time. So anyone who's religious really cannot be on our team. It's unfortunate.
Well, that speaks to the need for people to, do something about it. Tell me about who else is on the team besides the two women here, the two players here. What's the makeup of the team?
Well,
We have another two sisters in the team. They're playing in Metula. And we have another several girls from Metula. They're really good. Who else, Pnina?
and we have Rana from Nazareth. She's a Christian Arab, right?
Yeah, and she is a coach now
She's a coach.
in Nazareth.
And we have Aya, who is Druze, I believe, yes.
Yes.
From the farthernmost village in Israel, right near Mount Hermon.
And we have Gali and Nofar that they are right now training in one ice.
In the center part of the country.
Yeah.
Which is a new ice rink that we have in Israel.
Yeah.
So it's a very mixed team, and it's amazing how well everyone gets together. And we were talking about it today. Tomorrow we're going to have a kiddush, and we're going to also have a Christian prayer together with it. Our coach is not Jewish. So we're going to have a Christian prayer and a Jewish prayer to bring in the Sabbath.
So, Esther, our audience needs to know about your hockey chops, your hockey background.
Well, when I was in Ontario, I was in Toronto, and my son wanted to play hockey, and I saw all these signs up saying, are you a clumsy, older, out of shape person? You want to play hockey? So I said, sure. So I became a goalie because I thought I didn't have to skate well, which is not true. And I became a really good goalie. I played with men's B'nai B'rith, and I played with the Ontario Hydro League. And I went to lots of goalie camps with Ladislav Tretiak and others, and I worked really hard at it, and I loved it. It was great.
You don't play in Israel now, though.
I have played in Israel. We're just saying hello to the Serbian team who are walking in. And I played in Israel until 4 years ago. My knee is gone. So maybe after the knee replacement, I can play.
I want to ask you about the Canadian Embassy's support. I read that they are supporting you financially with equipment. Tell us about that.
The Canadians have been phenomenal. They paid for our first tryout. They paid for the ice time. They paid for these these shirts that we're wearing. And they've just been really, really supportive. And they even came to, I think the ambassador came to Metula. And they've always been there for us. They bought all our swag, our bags here. Here's our bags and our jackets. So they've been incredible. Our biggest supporters.
And you would think that this would be an Israeli government sports support as opposed to the Canadians supporting it. What is the disconnect here?
Because we're new. And the Federation has to prove itself, and then the government will step in. We have an organization here called Atena, which supports women in sports. And Chen is trying to get support at her place of work. And we're slowly trying to get more awareness. And of course, your wonderful interview, hopefully somebody will become interested because we're worthy of it.
Would you be able to give us numbers on how many women are playing hockey in Israel approximately? Do you know even?
There's about 50 women currently playing hockey in Israel that we know of.
So this is a real Canadian story with an Israeli tom, an Israeli flavor, because it should be the other way around. I understand. So let's talk about the two matches you played. you got smoked yesterday, 10-0. That's bad. But we did not have a shutout the first game. That's a good thing. That's no shutouts, right? As a goalie, you appreciate it. So, what's the strategy for the rest of the tournament? Because it's a shock that the big results were so lopsided. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about how Chen and Pnina feel, but first of all, we have the biggest victory that we're here. This is a miracle. We have ice once a month. I mean, the other teams, they have ice every week and tournaments and support, and ice once a month? My God, we're great. So we weren't so much smoked as we are here to be playing as a team. We didn't put our best players, constantly on the ice. Everyone played. It's for everyone to get a taste of the ice. So we're not bloodthirsty to win. That will come. But we're starting. Yeah, it's a Canadian thing. We're more inclusive.
I see. And I want to hear from the players themselves. Chen, what position do you play? I should know, and I don't.
I am defense.
Defense. And Pnina?
I'm center.
Center. Okay, so how does it feel for you guys seeing, being on the ice and actually being there? She said it's a miracle, but you're the actual players. So how does it feel for you guys? Start with Pnina and then Chen.
It feels great. I've been waiting for it a lot. Like, I've been playing with boys and I've been waiting for girls team. Really. So now to go on the ice with all the girls and playing against other countries, it's just great. Like, I even don't care what the score is. Yeah, it was at first a little bit I was upset, but then I realized we're doing a history right now. We're starting something new, and I'm part of it, so it's great. Like, really.
What did you bring? I'll ask you in a sec, Chen. What did you bring with you for good luck? Anything?
Me?
Every hockey player has a superstition.
Good luck. I need to think about it,
Because I know my kids play hockey too, not like at the level of your game, but they had to put their gear on a certain way. They had a certain handshake. They all have a certain rituals. It's the way you don't grow beards, but you know how it is.
So yeah, I brought my helmet, my red helmet that I played in Canada. Everybody knows I've been wearing it before the game, my red helmet for a couple minutes. Yeah, with my team in Ontario, the logo on it, just for a good luck.
What about you, Chen? How do you feel about being there? You're the captain, so it's a bit more responsibility to deal with what comes next. You have to move away from 10-0 and move to the next.
Yeah. So I'm trying to be focused for all of the team, so they won't be upset for the scores or something like that. So it's really hard game for us because it's a first official game for us, not against the boys. So it's getting serious when you're on the ice. And I think that we will be much better next year. And we will practice more because other teams were practicing for a year and a half for this tournament. And we haven't. So I hope next time we will be much better.
And every game we are getting better and better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, Canada's women's hockey team and the American women's hockey team are bigger stars than they've ever been, especially with the Olympics, and it's like a big rivalry. Are you at all watching them as role models?
God, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I had a lovely Facebook message from Haley Wickenheiser wishing us well. Yeah, I agree.
She reached out to you?
Well, I used to play with the celebrities, with the superheroes at the Baycrest fundraisers, the hockey ones. So I turned to them and I told them that we're starting out just like they did once, and they are our heroes. So that was a really nice shout out.
And Chen and Pnina, is there ever a thought in your mind to go professional and actually like the professional women's leagues and come play here? Is that your goal?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I'm trying the best. Like, I'm going to play hockey in Canada for to come to this level. And yeah, this is in my mind every time when we playing.
And I think I'm too old for it. So I will be a superstar in Israel.